following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah, go Cowboys!
This is Mick Shots. Streaming live on DallasCowboys.com and the official Dallas Cowboys app. Now, here are Bill Jones, Everson Walls, and Mickey Spagnola.
11:01 on Monday, March 13th. Everson Walls, I've got a proposal for you.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to offer you a contract. 1 year at the veteran minimum, $1.2 million is your salary.
Okay.
And I'm going to offer you a roster bonus due September 1st of $24 million. Your number, $24 million. Will you accept my offer and become a Dallas Cowboy once again?
I will, sir.
No, he's making more money doing Mick Shots.
You're supposed to say, what's my workout bonus?
No, I will give a damn. I'm like, yes, sir. You have
wait. Everson, think this through.
24 mil.
Everson, you might need an agent.
Okay.
You might need an agent.
Okay.
I just offered you a 1 year, $1.2 million. That's your base salary,
okay,
which you will not see any of that money until you play in a game.
Uh-huh.
And a roster bonus due September 1st of $24 million.
I can make it.
You can make it to September 1st.
That's right.
Mickey, do you think he'll see that $24 million on September 1st?
No.
Okay.
I'll take the 1.5
Cowboys have a
million.
big need at cornerback, Everson, and so I suggest that you work your fanny off the next 6 months.
I'm going to go get that hunchback lady, and we are going to get on the road, and she's going to get me in shape. I'll be ready.
So that is what's going on around the National Football League right now because the legal tampering window is now officially open. Mickey Spagnola.
So why do they call it tampering? They're not
that
tampering.
doesn't sound right at all.
Negotiating
That
window.
doesn't sound right. Legal tampering, that doesn't sound right
Legal
at all.
negotiating can go on right now, but you can't sign anything until March 15th.
I thought that was a pretty good proposal for Everson.
That is a great proposal, Bill. I'm glad you considered me.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
That's right. And
he would only need to be the third corner. So
Spags.
right.
Spags.
Oh, someone's already calling Everson right now. He's got another offer on the table from another team.
Spags wouldn't offer me that. You know, you could just tell if he was part of management, he would be like, no, we don't need him. But you're a good man. You're a good man.
And it's not going to cost me any money.
Not at all.
All right, here we are.
Which doesn't cost anybody on talk radio any money either.
There you go. All right. The new year will officially start at 3 o'clock on Wednesday afternoon, but the legal negotiating period is open right now, and I can't wait to get on Twitter to find out what deals are coming down right now.
Or trades.
Yeah, trades as well. It's already been a hectic weekend. Starting, was it on Friday when the Bears traded away the number one overall pick to the Carolina Panthers?
It's a pretty good trade for the Bears, I think, because I'm thinking they're going to give Justin Fields one more chance, right? But they ended up with 2 first-round picks, and one of them's next year. So if Fields doesn't work out, they've got 2 first-round picks in 2024 to be able to maneuver to get a quarterback.
If Justin Fields is really bad, they could have the number one pick anyway.
Yeah.
Or if C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young are really bad for the Carolina Panthers, they might have the number one pick, right?
Okay, so this narrative on Fields, I've seen the guy play. He did very well against us, against our defense. I mean, we had to keep scoring so that we could secure the game. I thought he played pretty well.
Right.
But he's the kind of person, he's in the position of you can put all the quarterbacks back there you want. If you don't have the other pieces, then you still have the same problem. So why do they keep thinking it's Justin Fields as opposed to it being the offensive line, as opposed to you have no running back behind you, as opposed to who are your wide receivers again?
Well, now they got DJ Moore.
Okay, one.
One, that's a start.
That's a start, yeah.
All right, and you have 2 first-round picks. So they can can do some business this year.
If you use those picks correctly,
right,
and hopefully use it as part of the offensive line or whatever's going to relieve your quarterback from having to run all over the place just to save his own life.
And remember, they traded for Claypool on the trade deadline last year, so they got some pretty good wide receivers in Chicago.
Too.
Okay.
There you go. And remember this about the Chicago Bears is they are so far under the salary cap right now, they can be a very big player in free agency.
Can make some big
right
mistakes
now.
or
That's
make
right.
some big hits.
In fact, they have to start spending money because they're so far below the salary cap right now.
They can't reach their percentage of what they have to spend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly. But when I do look at Fields, I don't see the accuracy coming out of college the way I do with Stroud, the way I saw with Young. But I still saw and still see a hell of a player.
Okay, so if you were the GM of the Chicago Bears, they had the option there, stick with Justin Fields, or they got the number 1 pick. They could go with C.J. Stroud. What would you have done?
I'd stick with Fields.
Okay.
The guy's pretty damn good, man.
I think you got to give him another year.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have to. I mean, right now.
Plus, it's a first-round pick. You can't just, we're done with
it. He was Stroud when he came out.
Right.
So now all of a sudden he's no good. No, you have to put the guys around him. I hope they end up doing that.
According to OverTheCap.com, the Bears have $75 million in cap space right now.
They're taking it slow, baby steps.
That's right. As opposed to Tampa Bay, which I saw was $55 million over.
So they still got moves they got to make before they could even do business.
Like trying to find a quarterback. Although I think I saw something they were going to re-sign Trask, right? No.
They already have him. He's under contract. Kyle Trask is the only quarterback on their roster.
Contract.
That's right.
I think I saw some people bailing now. It seems like a lot of people are leaving Tampa. I mean, not just Brady.
Yeah. Well, they have to. They have to.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you sign a quarterback for all that money and he decides, I'm going to retire.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he didn't have any years left on that contract, Mick. He signed a 1-year deal last year.
Yeah, but I think they had some dummy money passed over to this year. I need to go look at it.
Well, but if he was coming back, then but those other guys, there's so many unrestricted free agents on that Tampa Bay roster that it was all set up to coincide with Brady's contract anyway. All right, so what about these Dallas Cowboys?
Well, they should be under the salary cap now.
Mm-hmm. How did they do that, Mickey?
And once the salary cap kicks in 3 p.m. on Wednesday, but they did what we suggested, that they restructured Dak's contract and Zach Martin's contract, reducing their base salaries. I think both of them got reduced to $1.7 million and paid them restructure bonus on guaranteed money for Dak. So he was going to get it one way or the other. Doing it this way, he ends up getting it up front, $29.3 million. But his base salary for this year dropped, or his cap hit dropped from $49 million to $27 million. So they cleared up a whole bunch of money.
Moves are being made, guys.
They are.
Moves are being made.
And they will probably have a couple more that they need to make. If they're going to keep Tyron Smith, then they need to restructure his $13.6 million. The way they did Zach's was $13.5 million, and they restructured that and got his cap hit down to $11 million for this coming year. So they need to do that with Tyron, and if they're keeping Zeke at $10.9 million base, they'll restructure that. And they need to keep working on, and it's not that it's a big cap hit this year, but it will be next year, extending CeeDee Lamb, who's going into the final year the fourth year of his contract, the fifth year. If they pick that up, the option by May 1st, I believe it is, the fifth year is $19.7 million. So they got to keep looking down the road and they could extend
Wow,
him.
the fifth-year option is $19.7 million?
Yes.
Wow.
For a wide receiver.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wide receivers are starting to get paid in this
Yes,
league.
they are. They're very important. So there's a chance, his base for this year, $2.5 million, is guaranteed. So he knows he's making that. If he wants a signing bonus on an extension, he can make a heck of a lot more and not have to wait. And usually, if guys are getting good advice, you don't want to play that last year of your base salary because you never know what's going to happen. Dak Prescott, he was lucky. So those are three things that going forward they can do, along with trying to start. You think they got all this money, right? Well, take $10 million of that away to be able to re-sign. To do your draft. I think they're with the compensatory picks they picked up. They're right around $10 million for their rookie pool. And you need $7 to $10 million capital to kind of get through the season. They try to save that because you're going to have other things. So it's not like because they were over like about. I think one of the figures I saw, they were $16 million over. So this gets them under, but this doesn't get them to go out into free agency and spend a whole bunch of big money.
Big money on what?
On whatever.
What do we want?
I would like to see them re-sign Donovan Wilson. I don't know how much that's going to cost. I think I would love to see them re-sign Leighton Vander Esch. But I don't know how much market value is going to dictate what goes on here these next couple days. Because these guys are going to go out there. Their guys are going to search and go, okay, let me see what I'm worth, And then you come back to the Cowboys and say, okay, I can do this or I could do that. Ooh, how badly do you want me back? Otherwise, you're doing a lot of rebuilding at those two positions for sure. Because Anthony Barr is a free agent, I don't know that you want to sign him to a long-term deal. But if you're gonna use Micah Parsons as a defensive end, whatever percentage of time, then you need linebackers. So to me, linebackers, safeties, corners, heck, wide receiver. You name the position, I'll give you a reason the Cowboys need it.
I think if you prioritize,
like what's most important.
Yeah, if I were going to prioritize, I would definitely try to get that second wide receiver. I don't know what's going on out there, but it's a lot of movement being made. Veterans leaving teams. I think Adam Thielen's out there from the Vikings.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to get that old, but yeah,
he's
is
available. You don't want to get old on OBJ either, then, do you?
No, I don't want to sign age. Like a guy that's probably getting ready to have his third contract. That's getting older. You got to be careful.
It's interesting on the linebacker situation as we'll see the market being set. Leighton Vander Esch is an unrestricted free agent as of Wednesday at 3 p.m. And reportedly the Jets agreed to a contract with Quincy Williams, 3 years, $18 million, who's coming off 2 straight 100-tackle seasons, a linebacker there. So that could be the market as, being set there as far as Leighton's concerned. I'm not sure. But
so 3 years, $5 to $6 million.
Yeah, per year. Yeah,
I'd do that. Guy had 100 tackles and he missed the last 3 regular season games.
Who was this again?
Vander Esch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And the same thing with Donovan Wilson. He led the team with 108 tackles. Now, what value do you put on I don't know, do you call him a free safety, strong safety, just a safety?
I think in today's NFL, you're starting to put more value on the safety position, and consider Donovan Wilson.
They're using them in a hybrid situation,
Exactly.
Bill.
He is
you
a
get more
versatile
and more
player.
people doing that, showing
right.
more versatility from the safety position, not cornerback position, but from the safety position. Some can actually play corner. Some could play linebacker, and they could play safety.
See, and
so
he
to
can
me,
play linebacker.
That's 3 and 1.
And he
so
led-
that's what Bill's saying. That money needs to kind of start climbing.
And he
a
had
little
5 sacks last year.
Led the league, by the way,
For
for
safeties.
safeties,
Yeah.
and tied a Cowboys franchise record
and
for
what?
sacks by a
And
safety.
And the Cowboys start
he
3
tied?
safeties.
Bill Bates.
bit. Bill, did he?
Before Bates got transitioned to a special teams player. So yeah, I just think those 2 guys for sure. And there's a long list. You know, do you like Cooper Rush? You know, what are you going to do for a backup quarterback? You know, everybody's saying, well, they got to draft a quarterback. Backup of the future. Okay, well, whoever you draft has to be better than Will Greer. Because if he's not, then there's no sense taking the guy. So yeah, they got work to do for sure, without going out and making the big splash hit on a name. You got to be careful in free agency by signing names. You got to look and see, number one, why the team they're with doesn't want to re-sign them or allowing them to go into free agency. That's the first question you got to answer. Why is that happening? Now, it could be cap reasons, right? Okay, fine. But it's not like you got all this money to splurge.
Sometimes, like I think in the Jalen Ramsey incident, I think it's just they're cleaning house. They're cleaning house. I think Cooper Kupp's, they're trying to get rid of him, if I'm not mistaken. Now you've got Jalen Ramsey's gone. You've got I don't know if Jalen's contract was that hard to get rid of.
Well,
let's come back to that in just a second. We're talking about Leighton Vander Esch. Would Eberflus be interested in Vander Esch?
oh, I bet.
Well, reportedly already, Adam Schefter reporting that the Bears, we just talked about the Bears and all the money they got to spend. Eagles free agent linebacker T.J. Edwards plans to sign with Chicago Bears. And he's had 125 tackles last season. So maybe that takes the Bears off the Vander Esch.
What's the reported salary?
I haven't seen that yet. No, that hasn't been. But go ahead.
I was getting ready to say with Ramsey, he had 2 years at 17 and 17.5 million guaranteed. So you do that. Well, do you want to re-sign your cornerback because that's coming up, right? You might have to make Ramsey, is he 30?
Yes,
At least.
at least.
You got to be, and again, you got to be careful on that age. I saw one, and if you believe these metrics, he got charged with giving up 7 touchdowns. Second
Ramsey
most.
will turn 29 in October.
So that's not too old. But
Hold on, wait a minute.
Same draft,
Wait,
2016 draft.
29 is okay,
long-
but 30 is too old.
long as-
What is
well,
that? How did 30 get to be this?
when does he turn 30 though? Or is he already?
A year after that.
No. Did he turn 29 this year? It's only
He
March.
said he's almost 29
in October.
Yeah, he says he's almost 29. Yeah, he's almost 29.
Almost 29. That's a difference than almost 30. He could have turned 30 in July.
October's
right?
a long way away. October's a long way
Right.
away. I get it. Yeah. But in that situation, you've got a team that seems like they're just dumping everybody.
Well, they've
They're
got
starting
cap.
all over.
They got cap problems.
course,
And
yeah.
why do they have cap problems?
They had to get that Super Bowl.
Okay. Since we brought up Jalen Ramsey, 5th pick in the draft in 2016. And remember, 7 years ago, do the Cowboys take Zeke at number 4, or do they take Jalen Ramsey at number 4? And see what's happened with you got Zeke and what's happened in his career, where he is right now, and you had Ramsey And now he's on his third team, third team. Jacksonville Rams, and then now the Dolphins.
Who were your cornerbacks in 2016?
Byron Jones was one of them.
And you had just spent a first-round pick
Anthony Brown
on him.
was in that draft as a backup, obviously, but he was a 6th-round pick that year.
Carr wasn't.
I can't remember Brandon.
Well, give me
Carr's.
that.
But anyway, it's just interesting now when you can go back and
What do you think about that?
history.
I mean, if you compare, Jalen Ramsey got a Super Bowl.
And you're not supposed to take a running back that high,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, and now you see what the Cowboys have done over the last 7 years.
And Zeke's had a
you
heck
look
of a
at what
Cowboy
Ramsey-
career.
So you
So-
had,
Yeah, that's
you
right.
Had,
Yeah.
You had spent big money on Brandon Carr. I believe that he was probably close to the end of his contract. And you had spent a first-round pick on Morris Claiborne.
Back in 2012
That was,
or 11, whichever year that was.
He was still with him, though, as a usual
So your starting
starter.
corners in 2016 were who?
Morris Claiborne, Brandon
Carr.
Carr, and then they used at the one position because Claiborne got hurt, I think, Orlando Scandrick and Anthony Brown.
Byron Jones was on the team.
Doesn't show as a usual draft pick. I mean, starter. Jones didn't come till
What year? Jones was later, I believe.
2016.
Yeah.
He was
Okay.
like 18, maybe.
Okay,
Right?
17.
17.
That's right.
Speaking of Byron Jones, I
For some
meant to
reason I
bring
had
this up
15
last
on
week.
my mind.
He's gone.
He's having issues.
Well, that's
Forget
what he-
the fact that he's gone.
That's what he
retired.
said. He
Yeah.
retired because he couldn't run or jump, he said.
Yeah, how you go from being the most athletic guy in the combines, and now you can't run or jump? Was he taking shots? What's going on with this guy?
Well, he said he was. But he tore his Achilles, and it was more than just a torn Achilles. So there was problematic after problems.
It was a
after the
Spagnola
surgery.
Achilles, huh?
Yeah, right. Fortunately, I didn't have
So that's what the Cowboys wound up doing at cornerback the following year is when they drafted Byron Jones.
right.
So it's interesting.
But you
I
got
think if you're going to compare Ramsey and Zeke, that's a good comparison. 6-1, you want the Super Bowl as Zeke, but man, you had a hell of a career. You're having a hell of a career.
you had the NFL's leading rusher
Yes.
for what?
Yes.
Two seasons in a row.
And he's solid. You're on one team. You didn't go bouncing around. So
And even that rookie season, I mean, they win the division and they're right there.
Man.
With a rookie quarterback, they've taken in the 4th round that year.
they were the men. They were the men.
I don't think you can second guess that pick
I can't.
at all.
I can't. And I mean, even
And
you
I
look
like
at
Ramsey a lot, but-
What did Jacksonville get when Ramsey left?
I know what happened with Byron Jones. 2015, he was the first round pick.
That's what I thought.
But they moved him to safety.
Okay.
I was looking at usual
Okay.
starters.
I thought he was a 2015.
Remember, they
pick.
moved him
Yeah,
to safety.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Y'all had me going the wrong direction there.
And I don't know
Sorry,
if you had if you didn't have a running back at that point either. So you drafted
Yeah,
the
'cause-
NFL's leading rusher. Mm-hmm. So
I think we're good.
And
good on that.
now, when we come back here on Mixed Shots, what now with Zeke? In just a moment.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
We paid how much for those lessons?
Shh, she's doing great.
Oh, yeah, totally. Can you pass me a Pepsi Zero Sugar? Great job, honey! Oh, look at that. That's not the end.
No way. Now it's time for the encore.
You know what? You're right. 5 times? Not enough times.
For everyone who traded in rock concerts for their kids' recitals, you've compromised enough. Pepsi Zero Sugar. That's what I like.
Nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate. You hear that? I'm a torrential downpour. Torrential? What's that even mean? It means you can't see out of your windshield. And if you have the wrong car insurance, you might have to make it rain to fix your bumper. So switch to Allstate, save money, and be better protected from mayhem, like me.
Based on coverage and limits selected. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. In most states, prices vary based on how you buy. Allstate Bar and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
What do you call a group of grown men and women with their faces painted silver and blue who get together every week to share a 3-hour-long ritual of jumping, singing, and toasting Miller Lite in 10-gallon hats while yelling, "How about them Cowboys?" You call it Miller Time in Dallas. Here's to the Cowboys. Here's to the original light beer. It's Miller Time. Celebrate responsibly. 2021 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
Back to Mick Shots.
Of course, it's K-Post Roofing and Waterproofing, proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys. From corporate homes to your home, have your roof checked by choice, not by chance. So call now, 214-225-4860. That's kpostcompany.com.
Latest linebacker off the board, reported 3 years, $19.5 million deal, $12 million guaranteed. Bears signing T.J. Edwards. And so there's your linebacker market. We already talked about the Jets re-signing Quincy Williams, 3 years, $18 million, probably about the same guarantee, I would assume.
And those two teams probably have like beaucoup of salary cap room.
Exactly. Well, we already established that the Bears do.
Yeah, we know the Bears do.
Boku?
Boku.
It's buku.
Buku or boku.
Depends if you're French or Cajun.
So we know Everson is Cajun since he went to Grambling, right? And so,
Right.
and you're French.
I'm Creole, okay? Let's get the Cajun out of there. I'm Creole.
All right.
Which, by the way, they played in their conference championship basketball game.
Man, that was some exciting stuff all weekend. But
Lost to a 14-19 team,
I know,
Texas
man.
Southern.
Texas Southern, but they beat us all the time. They own us, in especially in basketball when it comes to the conference play. I don't know what's going on, but we had a chance to go, I think, for the first time in our basketball history to go to the big show.
Really?
Had a bit. That was it. That was
Wow.
the chance right there. I think we were getting beat pretty well, and then we came back and lost by about 3 points. But that was a frantic, rush at the end of the game.
So back in the day, was Grambling 1AA?
No.
It was
were
always
not.
Division One.
We were 1AA when I was there.
That's what I meant.
But before that, during the Willis Reed days and all of that, yeah, the Larry Wright days,
it was Division One.
It was. I think they were lower than that,
So
especially
even lower.
especially with Willis Reed when Willis Reed was there.
Man.
Now they want to play with
That's
the big
some history,
boys.
huh?
All right. The history of Grambling basketball, Division II level, 2 NCAA tournament appearances, Division II, 1958 and 1976.
58 would have been Willis.
And okay, Grambling won the conference regular season championship this year. They also won it in 2018. Previously, it was 1989. That's how dry it's been.
That's been pretty dry.
So there you go. And Mizzou is in.
They're in 7th seed. Beat Tennessee a
You
second
guys
time.
are balling, man. You beat Tennessee. That's pretty good.
And they had Alabama sweating for a while. I knew they couldn't beat them. Alabama's
Yeah,
much too
only
big.
really good teams can beat Alabama, like the last place team in the Big 12, Oklahoma, beat them by 20. And Oklahoma,
They must decided not to play.
And Oklahoma can't make the NIT, and they beat the number 1 overall seed of the NCAA
I'll tell you
tournament by
what,
20.
They've got that 6'9" guard they have, Miller. I'm telling you,
he's
gone.
Yeah,
and he's going to be really good. I mean, he can handle the ball. He can shoot threes.
Got a Kevin Durant look to him.
Yes, he does.
I'm impressed with UT, the men's basketball team.
Yeah.
So is everybody else, because everybody last night at the end of the pick show or whatever they call it, every one of the guys on the panel had them going to the final against Alabama. Every one of them.
Yeah.
Well, you look at Texas basketball. Is University of Houston still number 1?
Well, they lost Marcus Sasser out of Red Oak
but
to
they're
a groin injury.
Seed. They're a first seed.
They're the number 2 overall seed in the tournament.
And
I
didn't realize the tournament's in Houston too.
Yeah, it's the Final Fours at NRG Stadium.
It's all about Texas basketball.
All about Texas basketball.
Now
That's right.
the problem, and maybe they did this by design. So there wouldn't be 2 Texas teams in the Final Four, but Houston and Texas A&M are in the same region, and so the second round matchup could be Texas against A&M, which would
Texas a killer.
I don't know.
I think Texas a killer.
I love. You know what I love. I love about
they're what they call it trending. They're playing better as the season goes on.
You know what I loved about watching Texas against Kansas the other day? I love their bench.
That they beat them.
That their bench.
The way they beat them.
I mean, their bench was so into the game. They were having so much fun, and I think it's a tribute to that coach. I mean, they should have already said, "You're our permanent coach going forward, Rodney Terry." I mean,
and not to mention the players. Well, you know what they have to go through when you lose your coach. You know,
right?
Doing the you're like, come on.
And he is just steady Eddie.
Steady. That's correct.
As Kansas.
And the love that they showed to him after the game.
Yeah.
That was very cool.
That was very
they couldn't even finish
telling.
the interview.
Yeah.
That lets you know the players are trying to speak to everyone at the University of Texas. This is the guy we
know who that spoke to more than anybody?
Who was that?
Recruits.
Oh, nice.
You know, when they see that interview and they see the players all coming up. And,
they were on him.
Yeah,
they were on him.
And he's got a history at Texas, too. He was, for 9 years, he was assistant coach under Rick Barnes at Texas. Then he got a couple of head coaching jobs, Fresno State and UTEP, and back for his second year as an assistant, now the interim head coach. But, I mean, get that thing done.
That's why Missouri gave their guy an extension after just his first year. To $1.5 to $4 million a year.
If you have a connection with the players,
and you can see it,
the university has to take that into consideration. They have to.
Yep.
All right, back to Zeke.
Yes.
So what's going on with Zeke? You got Tony Pollard, who was tagged last week. Okay,
right.
And now you got $27 million on the cap dedicated to running backs.
Don't worry about that.
Stop bringing up those specific numbers, Bill.
It's the price of doing business, right? Look, think about this. Is Tony Pollard your lead running back? 25 touches a game. Right now, today. You good? You good with whoever's your backup? Because if it's not, then you got Pollard, and you're going to spend money on a first-round pick, right?
And that first-round pick is already gone. He's not lasted a 26.
Yeah.
And I'm talking Bijan Robinson.
Right.
Speaking of Longhorns, man, I love that guy.
I do too.
Whew. And you ever hear him talk?
Yes.
Oh my goodness, he is the real deal. I mean, he is, barring injury, he is going to be a player for a long time.
Should we torch ourselves with the thought of a possibility that we have a chance?
But I don't think you can count on it. But, I mean, you never know how people value running backs.
Well, here's all right, you do whatever with Zeke, okay, in my opinion, okay, you work whatever out with him. It should not affect, whatever you do with Zeke should not affect your decision at 26. And even though you got Pollard on a franchise tag, whatever, if you determine that Bijan Robinson is the best player for your football team at 26, I don't care that if you got Pollard and Zeke already on the team, you take Bijan Robinson.
Because you only have Pollard for one more year. And there's no guarantee that he's the same guy after what happened with him with the injury. So that's one reason why they probably didn't sign him to a long-term deal.
And to your point, it's a two-back system. And like with every other team in the league.
That's what I was going to say. All teams have two good running backs.
At least two.
We need to
That's right.
We need to keep two running backs. So how are we going to keep two running backs? Well, thank God the market doesn't pay well for top running backs. So it allows you to at least flirt with that more than you would any other position. And to me, we're at the best, even with Pollard's situation, I think we could be a little bit comfortable right now in regards to our running back position, hoping that he comes back full strength.
And you get running backs like Pollard and Bijan Robinson. You can use them in ways that go beyond a traditional running back. I mean, the Pollard came into the league listed on the draft charts as a wide receiver.
I didn't know that.
I mean, he was what he did at Memphis. He was a number 2 guy basically, and they used him as a receiver as much as a running back there. I mean, he's got that ability, and Bijan I think has the same ability where you can play him in the slot, put him on the field at the same time.
And he was a return guy.
Exactly right.
Bijan.
No.
Pollard.
Oh, I was gonna say.
Pollard's a big-time return guy at Memphis. Of course, there are no such things as returns in the NFL anymore.
Yeah,
kickoffs,
I think, yeah, right. I just think with Zeke, so he's got $10.9 million base salary. You get rid of him, it's an $11.8 million cap hit.
And you got to sign somebody else.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So you
got to find somebody else, man.
Yeah, so you got no human being for that cap hit, whether it's all hit this year or spread over 2 years.
And it'll be spread 5, 8, and 6.
Post-June 1st cut.
Yeah,
but.
yeah. And you have no
Nothing to show
sure replacement. Who's going to score those 7 touchdowns from 1 yard out? You got somebody? So... Yeah, I just think that you got to be careful. And I think if you maybe guarantee him that $11 million and spread it over 2 years, I think he'd be amenable to that. Why wouldn't he be? Because his guys got to know what the market is out there for running backs, right? And that's what these next 2 days are. What's the market for a guy that's, 29, 28, I believe it is.
Mm-hmm.
Same age as Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah, right. Although I think he turns. His birthday's in July.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, what's the market for a running back on his?
He's actually a year younger than Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah, mm-hmm. Yeah.
He
turns 28.
Turns
right?
28 July 22nd.
Which usually, if you go back in history and look at it, that's kind of the line of demarcation for running backs. Mm-hmm. Like after 28, things kind of go downhill a little bit.
Well, according to everyone
unless
else,
you're Emmitt Smith,
he's already there.
Yeah,
right.
I don't think he is.
Apparently, and especially running backs that have been used as much as Zeke has.
Mm-hmm. Right, and so yeah, I understand. I understand Pollard's. What he does, the big hit, right? But is he the little hit time and time and time again? Or is he trying to hit the big one and then he loses me 2 yards? That was all. And I understand how good Barry Sanders was, and he was. But he'll lose 3 or 4 yards on you trying to get 10.
Well, you don't want to compare.
No, I'm not. I'm not. No. I'm just saying that type of running back.
Yeah.
Right? I want the guy that's going to get those
the exceptions.
Those dirty yards, right? When you should get 1 and you get 3.
And Barry retired at age 30.
Yeah.
Well, he could have played more.
Could have played more, but he decided to retire.
He was just pissed off. He was just pissed off at the coach.
Detroit just wore him out.
Well, when they hired Ross, I think it was, that pretty much did it.
When did he retire? Like 92, 93?
The year that he came. The year that the new coach came, he left.
His last year, Barry Sanders' last year was 1998.
98. He went that far. Well, that's right, 90, because he came in about the time Emmitt did.
Mm-hmm.
98.
89. He was 3rd pick in the draft in 89.
So a year
Sanders
before.
was. Yeah.
The same thing like Jim Brown. He retired early.
Yeah, you're
right?
gonna make me look him up now.
I think he wasn't much more than 30.
All right.
If I remember correctly.
His last year was 1965, which would have put him at 29 years old.
Yeah, but those, once again, 2 exceptions.
Yeah.
2 exceptions. You're comparing him to these guys. I don't know if you want to keep doing that.
I bet at
that's
that
the second
time
time you've done that.
He was making more money. He was making more money making movies.
Oh, that's what it was all about.
Right?
Yeah.
How old was Marion Barber when he retired? 28.
28?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That was a hard.
That's right.
28 at running back the way he ran.
Yeah.
So yeah, going back to Zeke, I just think they need to rework it, and I can't imagine he would say no. He doesn't want to leave.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, you don't have to take advantage of him. You give him his money, just spread it out over 2 years, and see how it goes.
So
I'm sorry. So what if Eckler's available? What if Eckler's available? We have a shot at him, and we say, okay, we have a decision between he and Zeke.
No. It would be between him and going forward with somebody else.
Because Eckler's he's a
but he ain't
all down back though.
He ain't going for less than $10 million a year. Guarantee you that.
Zeke and Pollard.
Yeah.
And Bijan.
I'm okay with that. I don't think it's overkill.
No, not at all. I mean, you look, we're the age.
Right.
I mean, we just went down the litany of running backs, and they don't last that long.
You know,
you got to look. The draft is not just about this year.
Right.
It's about the next 4 or 5 years, especially with a first-round pick where you have them under control for 5 years.
Exactly. Absolutely. And that's what I think. People are so short-sighted, especially with free agency. Because now next year, by the way, I read where the cap's going to go up a bunch, maybe the biggest jump ever, because the TV contract money goes in. So what is it now?
As long as the banks stay solvent.
Yeah, right. or a bank in California, right?
That's scary.
What's the cap? The cap.
Scary.
The cap jumped to, is it 224 or 228 this year?
Something in that range.
But it's going to. I saw a projection it'll be in the 250s next year when that money kicks in.
And so we've already given that away to Everson September 1st.
Right.
His $24 million
and based on these banking
bonus.
situations, I want mine all cash. All cash, okay?
All right. We have more breaking news when we
yeah.
come back here on Mix Shots in just a moment.
We paid how much for those lessons?
Shh. She's doing great.
Oh, yeah, totally. Can you pass me a Pepsi Zero Sugar? Great job, honey! Oh, look at that. That's not the end.
No way. Now it's time for the encore.
You know what? You're right. 5 times? Not enough times.
For everyone who traded in rock concerts for their kids' recitals, you've compromised enough. Pepsi Zero Sugar. That's what I like.
Nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate. You hear that? I'm a torrential downpour. Torrential? What's that even mean? It means you can't see out of your windshield. And if you have the wrong car insurance, you might have to make it rain to fix your bumper. So switch to Allstate, save money, and be better protected from mayhem, like me.
Based on coverage and limits selected, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. In most states, prices vary based on how you buy. Allstate Bar and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
The season is finally here. For months, we've been gearing up to win. Now it's time for the team that performs on any field, United Ag and Turf. With John Deere Zero Turns for mowing, compact tractors for loading, mini excavators for digging, Gator utility vehicles for hauling, implements for grading, hay tools for baling. United Ag and Turf, for winning. The official Ag and Turf equipment supplier of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com for more.
Back to Mixed Shots.
So the 2023 Spring Break Youth Camp is March 13th and 14th.
That's today and tomorrow.
It says last chance to sign up for the 2023 Dallas Cowboys Spring Break Youth and Football Camp and Cheer Camp presented by Invisalign. Use promo code SPRINGBREAK23 for $25 off camp this Wednesday, March 15th at AT&T Stadium. Visit DallasCowboys.com/camps. And the 13 and 14 meant that's when I was supposed to read this.
I was about to say, Mick.
Well, that's what happens when you don't read the whole thing.
Right.
But camp starts March 15th, okay?
Everson, if you were to make a comeback, what position do you think you would play?
Safety.
How about this? Giants pending free agent safety Tony Jefferson has been playing safety his entire career, now 10 years in the league. Mm-hmm. He says his objective right now is being on the field for every down as a linebacker and not just passing situations. So he is currently trying to put on weight so he can be a linebacker. Well, do you think you could play linebacker and maybe replace Donovan Wilson if the Cowboys lose Donovan Wilson?
The problem he's having is he's having problems keeping up with these quick-ass wide receivers. So he's like, you know what? I need to step down there where the trotting is going down there. So
that could be an option for you.
Could be an option, man. Just work me out, baby.
Okay.
Bring me along.
There you go.
Who's our guy? Who's our weight guy? Who's our weight and conditioning guy?
Our nutritionist is Scott Sainer.
So the nutritionist, will the nutritionist get me bigger, or would the weight guy get me bigger? You know, we got to work together on this.
They work as a team.
Yeah,
there you go. I can work with that.
Hand in hand. Breaking news from around the National Football League: the Baltimore Ravens have released Calais Campbell. So there you go.
That's big man, right?
He is a big man, very big man, and he's like a Walter Payton Man of the Year type big man, too.
He was a good
high
player,
character.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Out of the U. Calais Campbell.
Mm-hmm.
He's been pretty good.
He has.
Yep.
He has.
Now, he's up there in years.
And I bet his contract was probably up
there in numbers as well.
I mean, that's what happens with those guys, right?
What guys?
When they get to that 30-something, you know.
Campbell will turn 37 on September 1st when you get your roster bonus.
So we're talking Peter's status, right?
Yep. Who, by the way, is a free agent as of Wednesday at 3:00.
You know what? I changed my answer. Long snapper. Long snapper. That would be, if I came back for another life, okay, long snapper would be my choice.
Especially since they can't line up over you.
Exactly.
And you would be held going downfield and making tackles, right?
By the way, the Cowboys are looking for a long snapper because both of their long snappers, Jake McQuaid and Matt Overton, are pending free agents.
Let's look at this. And I don't even have to gain weight. I'm not. No one's touching me.
Yeah, that's right. No one's lining up over you now, and so
that'd be great.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of long snappers that are free agents.
You just have to worry about the punts.
What?
Because they could circle around and come over you.
Don't worry,
right
I'll
up
see
the
them.
middle.
I'm not going to be running down there that fast.
Mickey, you were a long snapper in your playing days, weren't
That's
you?
Right.
Did they circle around on you?
Oh, I just did it for practice because the kickers didn't have anything to do at that time.
Oh, okay.
And I wasn't going to play defense.
Okay.
So Harold Nash would take care of you.
So if the Cowboys
put some weight on you,
I don't need much.
So if the Cowboys had a need, like in training camp for a long snapper, you could go out there and long snap.
Like I've done that. Like
do you think the size of your long snapper makes a difference? It does not. They don't do anything.
No, they jump right over you.
Cowboys are in camp, and McCarthy looks around. Let's say the long snappers tweaked a hammy or something, and they need somebody to come snap.
Can I get it back there in like 7 seconds instead of 1.2?
Could you imagine the difference between your snap and the real guys?
I had to go in once and play guard in a game, sophomore year. And when we watched tape, it looked like we had one person missing because it went boom, boom, boom.
Wait.
And then it went way down here.
Mickey, they did not have tape back then.
We had film. Yeah.
I must say,
looked like we had a 4-man line.
I had an offensive guard that was your size, Scott Kruger, I think his name.
High school.
Yeah, and he might have been shorter than you. That was one of the reasons we weren't worth a crap. But yeah, I've seen it, and it does look very, very well. We had Billy Don Jackson.
Oh yeah,
he played against Billy Don Jackson.
Sherman.
This little guy played against Billy Don Jackson. Could you imagine how they went? Could you imagine how that went? I mean, he just would pick him up and just set him aside and go make a play. I'm telling you, Billy Don Jackson against a guy your size.
Blast from the past. I got it right.
Yeah.
Sherman.
Yeah, of course.
6'3". It says here on his, I don't know, this isn't Wikipedia, whatever it is, 6'3", 230-pound defensive lineman. He had to be 330 pounds.
You know, but back then, it just, and plus he was a man. I mean, he was built like your dad.
And he played at UCLA, but he
had some problems when he went to UCLA. Yeah.
There you go. By the way, you Berkner Ram, are you going to give credit to the Lake Highlands Wildcats?
For what?
They won the state championship basketball.
They did?
Yes.
Wow.
Lake Highlands.
Well,
first time since 1968.
Go to Lake Highlands. Yeah.
First time in 55 years, Lake Highlands won the Class 6A state championship. They're led by the number 1 ranked junior in the nation, Trey Johnson, who is a heck of a player.
Where's he from?
Well, he goes to Lake Highlands. I'm sure he transferred in from somewhere.
I wonder if he's from Hamilton Park.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah, because, Hamilton Park
kids go to Lake Highlands now?
We have to. That's our 3-2. It's Berkner, Richardson, Lake Highlands.
Okay.
That's our 3 schools.
Okay.
Do you have your choice?
No, you do not. You know how you don't want all those black kids.
But Hamilton Park is large enough.
We can't have that.
But Hamilton Park is split up
into 3 different pie shapes.
Okay.
At the time, the junior highs were Richardson Junior High doesn't exist anymore. Forest Meadows and Northwood.
Okay.
And of course, Northwood doesn't exist anymore either. So that lets you know we're old, bro. When your schools start closing down, it's an academy there somewhere or something. So, yeah, we're split into those 3 different pie shapes, and we ended up feeding into Berkner, Richardson, and Lake Highlands. J.J. Pierce is like, y'all ain't coming over here. So somehow they weren't involved in this little division.
Got another free agent signing. Thanks to the producer supreme
Agreement.
Chris Beam. Yeah, it's not a signing. They've agreed to a deal. Denver giving former Ravens guard Ben Powers, the former Oklahoma Sooner, 4 years, $52 million, $28.5 million guaranteed. That is O-line U at Oklahoma.
How much?
4 years, $52 million, $28.5 million guaranteed.
So $7 million
for a guard.
See that?
Connor McGovern is
every time he says guard, he kind of spits it out.
Connor McGovern. There's
for guard.
By the way, there are 2 Connor McGoverns on the market this year, as of 3:00 on Wednesday.
Both of them, huh?
Both of Connor McGovern, the center for the New York Jets, and our Connor McGovern.
That'll be an interesting one. Although I think a team with a whole bunch of cap space might give him a pretty good deal just because of his versatility. Guard, center, could be a backup center, fullback.
Should we review the Cowboys' pending free agents as we close out the shop today?
We can do that, and I would have one last question, but when we finish that is, what do you think the position of priority is for the Cowboys, either free agency or draft?
Okay, so let's run through offensive free agents for the Cowboys. Tight end, Dalton Schultz. Wide receivers, T.Y. Hilton and Noah Brown. Offensive tackle, Jason Peters. Quarterback, Cooper Rush. Offensive guards, Connor McGovern. Avion Collins, who also plays tackle. And, of course, we haven't mentioned about Terrence Steele, the restricted free agent who
has been tendered the second-round draft choice.
And teams have until 3 o'clock on Wednesday to make that official. But the second-round tender for Terrence Steele would amount to around $4 million.
4.3.
So there are your offensive free agents. Would you like me to run down the defensive free agents, or would you like to discuss offensive free agents first?
I would say on almost the answer to every one of these is going to be market value. It's like, what's the market value for these guys? And do I have the means to be able to match whatever they think that market value is? They're going to have to find a offer and then give me the opportunity to match it.
I think Dalton Schultz is in one of the more unique situations.
Yes.
You got some good tight ends coming out of college. And you got some really good young tight ends on this team as well. Your teammates.
That's kind of the prevailing notion, right? If I don't have them, I spent a fourth-round pick on Ferguson.
Mm-hmm. Yes, fourth round.
That's what I spent on Schultz, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So is this guy ready? Might be a better blocker on the line of scrimmage. Now I don't know about ability to get downfield. But
yeah, I don't know if I don't know if they can get open in one-on-one.
Now Hendershot, I think, has that possibility.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of what they've got to weigh. What do we have here, and can they make that second-year jump to what I have with
This is not a good time to be an unrestricted free agent in the NFL as a tight end.
Yeah,
because I just saw a lot of options.
Didn't some guys just get traded or somebody re-signed? The
Patriots signed the guy. I think they signed him. Or they?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Tight ends.
The Falcons signed.
Jonnu Smith went from the Patriots to the Falcons, or is going there, I think, for a seventh-round draft pick. Now, Jonnu Smith was one of the tight ends that the Patriots signed at one of those big free agent signings, and now they're getting a seventh-round pick for him.
And there was a tight end involved in the Ramsey trade, wasn't there?
Hunter Long,
yeah. So, market value on all of that. I don't know what
Schultz is a good tight end, but he's not that athletic tight end that you
everybody
see out there.
wants.
But
right?
he's solid.
But he's solid. Right.
Yeah.
So can I just give him a solid contract?
We don't know what category that's in.
Right.
We'll see.
And then, you would like Cooper Rush back. Does anybody think he's a multi-million-dollar backup?
Starter.
Or at least a backup,
Yeah.
right? I mean, people paid $3-4 million maybe for a backup.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Will the Chargers pay that?
Good question.
You like how I put that together?
I know I know what tree you were barking up.
Defensively, the Cowboys have safety Donovan Wilson, linebacker Leighton Vander Esch, linebacker Anthony Barr, cornerback Anthony Brown, edge rusher Dante Fowler, special teams demon C.J. Goodwin, interior defensive lineman Jonathan Hankins, interior defensive lineman Carlos Watkins, and linebacker Luke Gifford.
So, to me, Wilson and Leighton Vander Esch are the priorities there if I'm re-signing somebody. I think Anthony Brown, who, by the way, has started his rehab, like on-field rehab on the resistance cords, but it's only steps. It's not like he's running yet or anything.
Baby steps.
And I've seen also Jordan Lewis starting his on-field rehab also. But if I'm Anthony Brown, I'm taking a one-year deal whatever they tell me it's worth with incentives so I can stay here and continue to rehab the ruptured Achilles. Don't want to have to go somewhere else.
Tough on the defensive back.
Right.
With Achilles problem.
Yeah.
That's all we do is backpedal and plant.
And if they'll give me that 1 year kind of prove it deal, I would take it.
Yeah.
And he might too. I mean, he's getting close to that 30
that plateau,
that 30 range.
I knew that question was coming, and so he will turn 30 on December 15th.
So that's 29 at the majority of the season. So, yeah. And then the rest of those guys, it's just market value. Would I like to have now, Hankins is up there, right, in age?
Yes.
Yeah.
Make me look that one up,
And
too.
if I'm not mistaken, I saw Carlos making a lot of plays last year.
Yeah. I would like him back.
Yeah.
I just don't know how much I can.
He's got to be a
put
forward,
on
but
that.
I would like him back also.
Jonathan Hankins will turn 31 March 30th.
Why did I say 35? Jeez. 31.
31 March 30th.
Well, that's not unreasonable for a defensive tackle. Takes up space.
Yeah, 340 pounds worth of space.
Yeah. So either one of those, whichever one I can afford.
By the way,
And
Bill,
then-
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
You were talking about offensive lineman, another signing news. Chris Lindstrom, you're talking about offensive lineman U. I would say probably Boston College. Chris Lindstrom out of Boston College got 5 years, $105 million from Atlanta. That's average $21 million a year.
And that relates
For
to
a
the
guard.
Cowboys. That does relate to the Cowboys, too.
Because
That market for guards
Man.
is
I
going
was gonna
up.
say, you're talking
my
about market
God.
for guards. There you go.
It relates to the
like,
Cowboys
okay,
because
it's like-
it's-
Andy
half
Moore,
that.
Spags.
McGovern's probably like, if I could get half that.
I should have.
why do
should
we
have stuck playing guard.
Now Tyler Smith is like, put me back at guard, please.
Well,
Well,
there is a
know
Lindstrom
what?
on the Cowboys roster, so there's that
There
too.
is.
Alec Lindstrom,
Alec.
his brother.
Yeah, his brother.
If he could stay healthy.
So maybe he's a future $105 million player right
We
in
wish.
this
Wow.
house right
Okay.
here.
Okay.
You know
$105
you've
million.
got a bunch of cap space if you can spend that on a guard.
Well, didn't the Cowboys spend that on a guard? With
Yeah, well, this guy's
Martin?
going to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, right?
Well, Lindstrom was second team All Pro last year. So
Ooh. I'm sorry, Chris. That was a weak comeback.
I don't think
I
he's
think Martin was first team. So
he's not Larry Allen or Zach Martin, right?
By the way, I'll put up my Oklahoma offensive lineman against your Boston
Yeah, man, I
College
can't believe he up
offensive
here
lineman.
touting Boston College.
That's
Where
where you get
that
offensive
from?
linemen.
I mean, go to the Kansas City Chiefs.
Come on,
you got
man. I can't
Orlando
believe he
Brown
tried
at
to
left
throw that in there.
tackle. You got Creed Humphrey at center.
Talk
and
about
then the
throwing shade.
Philadelphia
Come on.
Eagles with Lane Johnson at right tackle.
Can I just throw this out?
You
on
just
these?
had a guard that went for however much to
Talking
Denver.
about Boston College?
What's the guarantee?
Trent Williams. I didn't even mention Trent Williams.
What's
We
the
gotta
guarantee?
we're still stewing. We're still stewing here.
What's the guarantee on that $100 million deal?
Mickey,
Because
Mickey.
right now, what's happening with these contracts?
Those are agent
Those are
numbers.
agent numbers.
Interesting.
Right? And you got to know what the guarantee is, because a lot of those base salaries, the fourth and fifth year, are like sky high.
No one's gonna, they'll never
for
see
instance,
that. They'll never see
and this
that.
relates to the Cowboys. The Washington Commanders just signed Darren Payne, their all-pro type. I don't know if he actually made all-pro, but he probably should have. Defensive tackle to a
Let me
what
guess.
was a reported 4-year, $90 million
$90
deal,
million deal.
guaranteed $60 million.
Okay, so that's $15 million.
Second highest paid interior defensive lineman in
To
the league behind
Aaron
Aaron
Donald.
Donald. So
It's $15 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
Just tell me what the guarantee is, because I don't care about that last base salary. That's $46 million, not guaranteed. That's what it's all about. Tell me the guarantee. Don't tell me the package.
So are we able to go as long as we want to today on the show?
I think we are.
Until
you see me strumming my fingers here.
It's until Chris gets hungry.
Till Chris just cuts us off, period.
All right.
I just sent you another
Imagine the amount of
Atlanta,
news that's going to happen by the time we convene next Monday. Then the Cowboys will start signing guys.
Well, we'll be right on time.
We'll be setting the table for the Cowboys signing that special player that Jerry was talking about.
Okay, here we go. Last question.
Okay.
What position?
Wide receiver.
Wide receiver.
Darn. We're 3 for 3. Somewhere along the line, I need another wide receiver.
Who goes by initials?
I got no initials, just somebody that can get open and catch the ball.
I'm not.
Would you like a wide receiver that goes by initials?
I do not care.
That start with an O?
I'd rather not.
He'd better ball. That's all I know.
Does he catch with 2 hands?
Yeah, and see, all that is cute.
Because I saw his.
I saw it too, Chris.
And he only caught the balls with 1 hand the whole time.
And you can be as good as you want.
Am I right,
if a
Everson? Did you watch
DB's coming at, I saw it. If you got DB coming at you, and you keep on with this one-handed crap, you're gonna get busted up. That's all I know.
So funny.
Especially if Everson hits you.
You're gonna get busted up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And same knee, 2 ACLs. Factor that in on a long-term deal. You gonna give him 5 years?
How old is he?
Probably 29.
He's 29.
So we're talking draft or free agent.
Yeah.
Which one?
That's what I'm saying. Either.
Which one?
I don't care. I just need a quality next receiver, because right now it's Michael Gallup, CeeDee Lamb, and I went
Turpin.
Time.
Odell is 30. He'll be 31 November 5th.
And I love young wide receivers. The wide receivers coming out of college now, they're ready. They're NFL ready. So that might be a strong possibility.
Where you go. That's where you go.
I mean, think about what happened this year, right? You had to go sign Hilton at the end of the season to be your third guy.
Sign him at the beginning of the season. Sign him in March.
Does he want to play? Or is he going to go?
I don't know. No, I'm not. I'm just saying in general.
I'd kind of like to see him come back.
I wouldn't mind it, but does he want to play?
Yeah,
I mean, the reason he didn't play last year because he wanted to watch his kids play football, and I would imagine maybe he wants to do that again. I don't know.
How old's his kid? Maybe we'll get him.
On yet?
I think they're like junior high, early high school.
We got a while.
I mean, he's only.
You want to go, Mick? I mean, Everson, you want to leave?
He's hungry.
Mickey
I got to go walk a dog.
Okay? He's hungry.
I'm hungry, and I got to go walk a dog.
Mickey can keep talking. We're just going to take off. Okay, that does it for this edition of...
That's why we call it Mick Shots.
Right. He calls the shots.
And we'll see you again next Monday at 11 a.m.
Go Cowboys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this?